Welcome everyone to my channel. This is Gypsy Oilers, and today I am going to be going over with you how to use a resin burner. It's a little bit different. Actually, it's quite different than using a diffuser, and some people tend to shy away from ordering a resin burner because they're not really sure how to use it. So hopefully this will give you a good idea of how to use a resin burner and bring it into your home as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, definitely subscribe. I would love the support, and let's get to it. So first you're going to need an actual resin burner. This is the one that I use. I ordered this from Fluorocopia, and I will put the link below. You can use any resin burner that you find. Young Living also has a resin burner, and at the time that I had purchased my resin burner, theirs was not in stock, and there are a couple other reasons why I didn't get that one, but no big deal. Young Living doesn't actually make their resin burner, so it's not like you'd be cheating on Young Living if you didn't order it. But of course, it's always great to support the company. So if you do like that one, it is a great product, and feel free to order that one. However, I will put the link below. I love my resin burner. It comes in a beautiful package, and maybe I'll do a review video on that separately. So you're going to need a resin burner, and then you're going to actually need resin. Now this I do order from Young Living. They have amazing frankincense resin, which I found to be of really high quality. So I take the resin that I received from Young Living, and I saved this jar from coconut oil that I use in the kitchen, and when I was done with it, I washed it out and I use it to store my resin. It's nice and dark, so it keeps the scent fresh, and it seals up really great. So it's a good use of a recycled bottle. You do not need this, although I definitely prefer it. This is a mortar and pestle, and I use this, and I will show you how with the resin before I put it in my burner. So what I'm going to do is, this particular resin burner comes with tin foil cups, so that the actual heating plate does not get all yucky from the resin, the leftover resin. The Young Living one doesn't have these foil cups. They're very inexpensive, and I reuse mine a lot. I've actually reused this one foil for probably the last 6 months or so, and they're $3 for 5 of them. So one pack would last you an entire year if you use them correctly. So you place the foil inside your resin burner. Now, the resin comes in large chunks like this, and you can place this resin in here in those large chunks, which I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flattened piece first, so it's a little flat, set that in the center, and I might grab a couple of other pieces. Now, large pieces like this, what I like to do is you can place them in the resin burner as they are, but these I actually like to crunch down a little bit more, and I'll show you that. So I use my mortar and pestle, and I cover it. This one's a small one, so it tends to pop up. The resin pops up, so I put my hand over this so that the resin doesn't come flying out. And like I said, this is optional. You don't need to do this. I just prefer it for myself, and I'll show you why. And it smells amazing. Already, the smell, the pungent smell from the resin is starting to be released. So now you have, see if you can see that a little bit. You have a lot smaller pieces, but you also have a fine powder as well. And I find that this fine powder and the really small pieces really melt well in the resin burner. And that's one of the reasons why I like to use the mortar and pestle. So now that I have the 3 larger chunks in the center, and I just place the powder and the smaller chunks around the edges. You can do it however you'd like. It's no big deal. Okay. And you're going to turn on the resin burner, And let me see if I can get a better angle on this. So can you see this? So this is the switch to turn it on, and you're just going to heat it. The maximum heat is 250, and you can see the dial right here, and there's a little arrow. I like to put it at about 235. I find that that does well. So that's going to start to heat up. And while that's heating up, one of the added things that I do, I don't do this every time, but I would say I do it at least once or twice a week, is you can actually take an essential oil. This one I have is Palo Santo, and this is an amazing essential oil for meditation, increasing your meditation sessions, cleansing a room. It is one of my absolute favorites. And what I do with that flat piece of resin that I put in the center, I actually put 1 drop of an essential oil on that. Okay. And you can see it's darker now. Anyway, so now I'm going to put the lid on. And the lid has these nice holes to allow the smoke to come through. This specific resin burner came with a couple of tools. This I use to take the resin out of my jar, but it also is used to take the top off when this becomes hot to the touch. And the main difference between a resin burner and the diffuser is that this becomes very hot to the touch, and also this inner circle becomes very hot in order to heat up the resin. A diffuser does not have a heating mechanism at all. So you don't want to use a resin burner in a room or an area where there'll be small children or pets where it can get knocked over or burn someone. I use this in my studio and meditation room, and I find it's perfect in there and out of the way, and I use it daily in the morning. So I'm going to let this heat up, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so my resin burner is starting to get nice and heated up, and the resin's starting to melt down. And while it's doing that, I want to talk to you just for a brief moment about the different notes and scents of the resin. So as you burn the resin, there's 3 notes that will begin to happen. You have a top note, a base note, and a bottom note. As the resin begins to burn initially and starts to melt down, that's the top note. It's very sweet to the nose. It has a very refreshing, sweet smell. As it starts to melt down, you'll start to hit a base note. That sweetness kind of starts to become eliminated, and it takes on a more deep, earthy smell, and that's the base note. As it burns even further and starts to darken, you have a bottom note. All of the sweetness is gone, and it's very deep and very earthy and almost has a burnt smell to it. Many people stop using the resin at the base note, and because they don't enjoy the bottom note as much. But as your sense of smell matures, you've begun to really appreciate the bottom note. I love the bottom note. Like I said, it has a very earthy, burnt smell to it, and I burn all my resin down until it's very, very dark. Once I'm done with the resin completely, I put it in a bag. I let it cool down, and it becomes hard again, and obviously cold. And I put it in a bag, and then I crush it up to a fine powder, and I actually use that in my skincare. And that'll be a different video. But those are the 3 notes. And yeah, so before I run out of time, let me just show you what it looks like as it's burning at the top note, like I said, and that's it. It's really easy. I love a resin burner. I use it every day, especially in the morning during my meditation time. And if you have any questions, ask below. Don't forget to subscribe, and definitely give this video a thumbs up. Thanks again for watching. So it's just starting to get really warm, and obviously you want to use the tongs because the lid does become hot. Get a good hold. And you can see it starting to bubble up. better look from this side. And as it's on here longer, you will begin to see the smoke. You probably saw it in the other video that I showed in the beginning, but yeah. And so there you have it. It's an amazing asset to your essential oil collection and daily routine. Cheers.